In the last section, we tried 3 different ways to display a variable inside JSX, and only 2 worked. In this section, we'll find out why. To understand why, you must first understand the JavaScript concept of scopes. When we declared our first variable, we declared it in the class scope. Therefore, we did not have to use the var const and let keyword. Using those keywords will in fact have resulted in an error. Since we declared it in the class scope, we could access it using the this keyword in our JSX. So essentially, in our JSX, this.name means app.name, where app is the name of our class, and this refers to a single instance of the class. Name is then just a property of the class and not a variable. To test this out, let's try something. Let's console.log just the this keyword. Let's also move name back into the class scope. What do you predict will happen? Let's save our file and check. And as you can see, we get the app class, and if you expand the object, you can clearly see the name variable as one of the properties of app, and this really shows that this keyword is really just referring to an instance of our class. So let's try something else to help us better understand scopes. Let's try to access the name property outside the class. Outside of our class, we can create a new variable called app instance and then initialize it to a new instance of our app class. On the next line, we can use dot notation to console.log app instance.name. And after saving the file, we can check the console and clearly see name is printed. And to recap, the only reason we're able to see name here printed is because name is a property in our class scope. So how about our second variable declaration? Why do we need to use the const keyword when we put the variable inside the render method? And this is because when we declare the variable inside our function, the variable is no longer in the class scope, but it's now inside the scope of the function. And the render method is really just a regular JavaScript function. So you can use it exactly how you would use any other JavaScript function. And since the variable was not in the class scope, we no longer had to use the this keyword. We could just directly use the variable name. So name is now a variable inside the render method. Do you still think it will print to the console? And if we save and see, and no, we can't access the property anymore because, as mentioned, the scope changed. In the next section, we will go over how extends component in class inheritance works.